What do you think the implications? I mean, if the euro breaks up, what are the implications for that? I mean, will all of these countries, we saw it during the sovereign debt crisis, in 13, 14, and they were talking about Greece going back to the drachma. Do you think that could happen there?
I believe it can happen, particularly when you're seeing, as you mentioned before, these populist movements that are going on. Tracking trends is the understanding of where we are, how we got here, and where we're going. One of our top trends for 2020 that we put out at the beginning of the year, January 2nd, was New World Disorder. In 2019, there were protests, major protests going on I'm going to talk about immigration and how it made things worse. There were protests going on all over the world. Mm-hmm. The yellow vests in France.
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Algeria, India, South Africa, Chile, Colombia, Brazil, all over the world, people taking to the streets because of lack of basic living standards, government corruption, crime, and violence. Facts. So, what happened? COVID war happens. Get back in your house, you can't go protest. Everybody forgot that.
Yeah, it was convenient, wasn't it?
I'm mentioning this because the dire conditions in not only emerging markets, but developed markets. Yeah. People were leaving. Rather than getting your brains blown out, dealing with drug dealers, not having enough money to basic living standards, they're doing everything they can to flee their countries. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Now, that situation has worsened. Look at the data again. It's in the magazine this week again from the World Bank and the IMF about the dangers of the emerging markets, the deep debt levels they're suffering from, and how their economies are going down. Going back to the euro, putting it all together, there's going to be very, very strong anti-immigration movements going on. And there's going to be back to we're Germans, we want to be Germany. We're Italians, we want to be Italy. We're Sweden, we want to be Swedish. You're going to see more and more of that in countries around the world because the immigration problems are going to escalate this year big time.
Everywhere, even here in the U.S. Do you see hyperinflation on the horizon?
Look at the numbers that just came out. With the inflation, it was only up 2.7%, and they're rigged. Everybody knows that. The housing prices have gone up 50% since the COVID war. Oh yeah, but we're not putting that in because there's rentals, and we're going to make the lumbers a lot lower. Oh, your steak prices went up. Yeah, but people are eating chopped meat. I mean, they've rigged the numbers.
Right.
But even at the number of 2.7% on a GDP annually. How much did car insurance just go up again? 12.7%?
I mean, when you look at the individual numbers, it definitely does not add up. And to your point, they are rigged. But you also say frequently when all else fails, you go to war. And so Are we looking at World War III? Has it already begun and we just don't realize it yet?
It's begun. It began with the Ukraine war. And then again, this Middle East crisis now going on with Syria and the United States, Israel, and Turkey bombing the hell out of Syria now. Again, we just put the facts down. Times of Israel reported that Israel has wiped out over 80% of Syria's military planes, ships, things. United States is bombing it. Turkey's bombing it, and now we're concerned about is they're going to ramp this war up with Iran, and then what? Oh, here, yeah, I'm not making this up. Just 2 days ago, the United States stole $20 billion of Russian money and sent it to Ukraine. $20 billion.
Mm-hmm.
We have now given, according to Judge Napolitano, it's up to almost $240 billion that we've dumped into the Ukraine war since February 2022. As our country is rotting in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you people in Maui where you lost everything? How the hell with you? I don't care. Oh, you people in North Carolina where they yeah, whatever, give you, here's a couple of bucks. Shut your mouth. We got to get money to keep the war going. Again, not my language, the language of a real man, like him or not for some of the things he did and didn't do. Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces, and 2-term president. The military-industrial complex is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, sweat of the laborers, and the future of the children. And here we are.
Well, all of these are an indication of the end of an era. And we're transitioning into a new era. I would like, and what about the American exceptionalism that seems to still go on? I mean, do people really believe this? I mean, where are we going? Where are we headed, Gerald?
It's the end of the empire, as I see it. You know, Trump said he's going to punish the people that go into the BRICS. The BRICS are going to keep growing. They've had enough of the United States geopolitical and economic hegemony. I mean, yeah, the dollar still is very strong, but the numbers have gone down by 10% from the trading of what it used to be, and it's only going to become a matter of time. We became the country our founding fathers fought against, the United Kingdom. The sun never sets on the British Empire. We kill and slaughter people all over the world, but you have to say it properly with the proper accent. They only killed about 400 million people in India, by the way, during the occupation. What happened after World War I? The pound plummeted because of all the wars that the Great Britain fought, and that was the beginning of the dollar.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We're doing the same thing. All the wars that America's fought, all the money that we're spending for the military-industrial complex, it's going to be the beginning of the death of the dollar. It's going to happen. Again, we're only 345 million people out of 8 billion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yet we control a lot. And I want to go back to the BRICS for a second, because I think it's really interesting that there are two entities that are really straddling the fence on this. And one is India and the other is Saudi Arabia. Neither one of them have made like the full commitment one way or the other. What do you see for that this year ahead?
It's a guessing game, because particularly with Saudi Arabia, I mean, what do you have? They're doing business with America.
Right.
And what is Trump's son-in-law? How many $billion deal did he just do with Saudi Arabia?
Right.
Jared Kushner.
Yeah.
So Saudi Arabia is on our side, and they're going to stay there. And the United States keeps selling them more and more military weapons. And so they're going to stay with it. They're not going to. India's a whole nother game. And if India and China get into more of an agreement, that to me is when it's going to change, if it changes. Because again, you have these ethnic, conflicts going on for how many centuries,
Exactly.
And so that, the mentality of that keeps things from going forward. But again, then you have to look at the rest of the world. And much of the world is fed up with what America is doing. And it's going to be just a matter of time. And going back to the death of the dollar, when they start lowering interest rates, the dollar is going to decline. It's as simple as that. The lower interest rates go in the U.S., the deeper the dollar is going to fall.
So that's actually in two ways. The way that you're kind of referring to it is against our partners, our trade, one currency against the other. But also to your point, when they lower the interest rates, what is that about? That's about creating inflation. That means that the purchasing power is going down. Can they control the speed of that, or are they losing control?
No, they can't control the speed of it. It's a guessing game.
Yes, it is.
Let's go back to the facts. As inflation was skyrocketing in America, we heard the crap spewing out of the mouth of the Fed head, Powell, saying, no, this is only temporary. And then Janet Yellen, the former Fed head, the Treasury Secretary, said, no, it's only transitory. As it's skyrocketing. Did they know it, or they were just lying?
Oh.
Either way, it makes no difference.
Right. You know, much as they say that they're fighting it, the reality is it's part of the system that we're in. And the more debt we take on, the more interest we have to pay, the deeper the deficits, the more money they print. I mean, all that does is end World War III and the wars. It justifies the inflation. It points the fingers.
Yep.
Right?
No, they're going to take us to war. I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned about this. And it just keeps escalating. And again, the billionaire is not a penny for peace.
Right.
Not a penny. Not one penny. Could you imagine if each billionaire gave $1 billion apiece, which is chump change for them?
Well, because they could stop the war, couldn't they?
Yep.
You know, so who is really ruling this world? When corporations take over the government, which is really where we've been at, and we've been marching to this tune for a long time, and now we're going to have even more consolidation with the mergers and acquisitions coming up. So the whole world becomes what? One big monopoly?
Mussolini called it the merger of state and corporate powers is fascism, and the corporations run the country. Look at the donations to the presidents on both parties. Who's running the show? Look at all the top corporate people.
It happens slowly at first so that nobody really notices it. And, you know, they keep it hidden for a while so that people don't realize it. But once everything gets to the point where it's just so blatant, why bother to hide it anymore? Because It seems like the public has just